Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about, imagine you ordered it to your job for lunch. Doordash customer receives raw Logan's Roadhouse rolls with baking instructions, sparking debate. I can understand to a certain degree if you actually did order rolls that are not cooked. I can understand if you sometimes get an order that is undercooked or overcooked. But literally getting raw food and getting instructions on it on a Doordash order, that's not what you go to Doordash for. If I wanted that, I'd go to Blue Apron or HelloFresh or something to that effect. Anyways, I'm actually really curious on what the heck is going on here. So with that said, I want to talk about what happened in this TikTok, what this article is saying, how it actually is for DoorDash customers and gig workers and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. A customer claims she received raw bread rolls from Logan's Roadhouse with baking instructions written on top of the styrofoam container they were in, placing the order via DoorDash. I don't even blame somebody for wanting to rate the restaurant badly, but you know that the driver is going to be on the receiving end of that rating too. Because that's not what somebody ordered. You don't tell people to do that crap. TikTok creator Mariah, Aya_H, received over 511,000 views on the video that she posted to the social media platform on September 22nd. The things you do for content, huh? As usual, I will leave her TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. In the video, Mariah points her camera to an unopened styrofoam takeout container that reads, "Cook at 350 for 8 to 11 minutes, followed by a hand-drawn smiley face. I ordered these rolls from Logan's Roadhouse, right? The TikToker explains as she opens the box for the big reveal. Yo, Logan's Roadhouse is gonna be under serious fire. And I'm glad that she hasn't talked about the driver at all during this entire thing, because that's not the driver's fault. Like, we cannot promise the quality of food. We can only promise the transportation of the food. Like, I want to understand why they did this. Like, why is this a thing? They didn't even cook my effing rolls, y'all, she exclaims. They just put them in an effing box and sent them on their way, she says. Inside the box are 6 shiny fist-sized pieces of raw dough, ready to become rolls after a few minutes in the oven. As someone who would order food on Uber Eats, I'm not ordering raw dough, I'm ordering cooked food. And this isn't specifically a DoorDash thing. This is an Uber Eats thing. This is a Grubhub thing. Why is this even a factor? Why do people do this? I hope the guy that did this got fired and that was not Logan Roadhouse's standard of customer service, because that's disgusting. I guess it was too much for them to do their job. Or maybe something was wrong, Mariah says as the video ends. I really don't know. You know, honestly, the quality of people that end up working in restaurants is absolute travesty these days. Between Chick-fil-A, between Benihana with me recently, Logan's Roadhouse now. And I'm sure I'm just naming a handful of restaurants where that list is actually quite extensive. People aren't working in restaurants anymore for good reason, because they're not paying them enough to sustain an actual living. So the people that do work there are absolutely terrible at everything, and I'm serious about that. Now many people can relate to the disappointment of receiving an incorrect food order when they're hungry, and in most instances people would have been on Mariah's side. Some did agree that receiving raw food was unacceptable and that they would immediately call DoorDash or the restaurant to get a refund. I would call DoorDash to get a refund. If you call the restaurant, you didn't order through them, so therefore you have to go to DoorDash to go through them. But that kind of sucks, because that means the driver might be in jeopardy because of that. It doesn't matter why the order is not to the customer's liking. The fact of the matter is, if something goes wrong, everybody's at fault, even if it's absolutely not their fault at all. But I would definitely tell DoorDash, because hopefully they will actually hold them accountable for not abiding by the health standards that the platform demands. But many users weren't as sympathetic. A lot of users pointed out that the establishment Mariah ordered from actually offers raw rolls as an option for people who prefer to bake them at home. I used to work there. People could order them uncooked so they stay fresh, one user helpfully explained. The fact is verified by the restaurant's online menu. They offer take and bake, another another user offered. You probably ordered the wrong one. Okay, I see the appeal of that, but I'm seeing this and I'm like, what? Not to mention, let's say you actually didn't order that. Let's say you ordered the fresh rolls, the ones that they make at the restaurant, because you're at work and you can't actually make those rolls, but they give them to you anyway because they made a mistake. That's a pretty big deal. Although I will say, it's pretty cool to know that there are actual restaurants that offer raw rolls, so that way you can actually make them at home. Although I do think it's misplaced on Doordash, but that's not the point. Mariah responded to both these comments, saying that apparently the Logan's Roadhouse location by her didn't offer raw rolls until recently. And it didn't even have the option to order them cooked. It seems that so many people point out this fact that Mariah made in another video in response to clear this up. Prior to this order, it was fresh cooked rolls. That was under normal circumstances. Now that they have made this change, they don't even offer the cooked rolls anymore. They only offer the raw rolls. And they casually forgot to mention that to Doordash. And then because of that, the customers are the ones suffering for this. That's messed up. They don't offer cooked rolls anymore on Doordash in my area, she says in a follow-up. Mariah also claims that her previous deliveries from the establishment always included cooked rolls, never raw, and that the new menu offering could be an error or something because it wasn't like that before. I don't know if it would be considered an error, more just like a not updated menu. Doordash is funny about this stuff because they will literally choose not to update their menu specifically because, well, this is what happens. Many users said that they didn't feel it was necessary for Mariah to hop on TikTok to put the restaurant on blast. I'm not mad at them wanting you to have hot bread, one user said. Am I the only one who would take this in stride and bake them happily? LOL. Kind of fun, I don't know, and hilarious, said another. Okay, that's your preference. That's not the preference of every customer. I wouldn't want that. If I'm gonna order food, I'm literally ordering food so that way they make it. That's the point. I do see a lot of comments like this, Mariah says, defending her reaction to the raw rolls in another response video. The only reason I was mad was because I had to get ready for work. I barely had enough time to cook them, Mariah also claims. The rolls took longer than that time in the box. So it wasn't 8 to 11 minutes on 350 degrees. It was even more than that. So that's not only false advertising, it's wrongful instructions. And let's say she did wait till 11 minutes and it wasn't cooked enough, that's a health hazard. She says that any other day she would have cooked the raw rolls at home. I'm not this spoiled brat that can't throw some rolls in an oven myself, she says. That wasn't the point. She says the only reason she was mad was because she didn't have time to make them, which was the reason she had ordered them in the first place. And that's the reason a lot of people go on DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub. They don't have the physical time to actually make their own food, so therefore they're paying somebody else to actually make the food. So when they get a raw pile of dough, it doesn't make sense. Honestly, I don't even think an order like this should even be on the platform. Or you should make it abysmally clear. Like, so clear that even a monkey can see, hey, this is raw rolls. If you don't have time to cook them, don't order them. Otherwise, you're gonna have more issues exactly like this. One of the top liked comments also asked Mariah to not punish her DoorDash driver for the mistake that was made by the restaurant. Mariah once again made a response video clarifying that as the DoorDasher herself, she would never blame the driver. And that is what I'm talking about. Thank you to this person not blaming the driver for literally what is not in the driver's control whatsoever. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. I understand the appeal of having the raw rolls available on your menu. I don't think it's okay to just surprise people with raw rolls. If I'm gonna order rolls, I want them cooked. If I'm gonna order those rolls from a restaurant and I receive raw piles of dough, I'm gonna be upset because that's not what I wanted. I wanted a meal. I wanted to actually eat the food once it gets here. That's the point. So when I see orders like this come in and I see that the person intended to eat the food just before they went to work, I'm losing my crap. Now you can also argue that this is a DoorDasher that ended up making the order, so she could have gotten the order herself and it would have probably been just just as much time, if not less time, but you can't be sure across the board with that. Like, seriously. If I'm crunched on time, I'm not stopping somewhere. I don't have time for that. In my house, if I have to eat something, everything's like to go ready. Like, I'm going with the food. It's probably some bar or some packaged thing. And while it may not be the healthiest, it's what I need to do if I'm on the go all the time. If I received this order, I would be pissed. Like, very pissed. Either way, good on her for doing what was right by the Dasher and not blaming the Dasher for what happened by this restaurant. And I really hope this restaurant makes an edit or a change to the menu itself so that way it is clear as day that they are getting raw food as opposed to a cooked meal. Because if I wanted that, I would have went to HelloFresh. I would have went to Blue Apron. If you're a vegan, you can go to Purple Carrot or some crap. But either way, it needs to be abysmally clear. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!